The Sith Troopers were a stormtrooper variant that served the First Order during its war against the Resistance. Named after the Sith, an ancient order of Force users devoted to the dark side of the Force, these troopers were the next evolution of Imperial and First Order stormtroopers. They wore red-colored stormtrooper armor and wielded a type of black and red blaster rifle. The 105th Battalion, which was comprised of Sith Troopers, was also made up of Sith Jet Troopers. Not much is known about the Sith Troopers at this moment, but I'm very excited to bring you this video tutorial of how to make their helmet. Hello to you newcomers and welcome back, my lovely subscribers. This is Big Baby Props, and I am the Big Baby. Like I said, today I've got something special for you guys, the Sith Trooper helmet from the upcoming film, Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how I made this helmet, and how you can as well. So with that said, let's get right into it. As with most of my helmets, we're going to be starting with a raw 3D print. I'll be sure to link the files I used in the description if you have a 3D printer as well. If you don't have a 3D printer, I highly suggest you do if you're interested in these kinds of videos, but I also sell the raw 3D print we're starting with in my shop online, so be sure and check out the link in the description for that as well. There's a few good files for this helmet out already. The reason I picked this one in particular was because of the removable faceplates. That's going to make painting a literal breeze later on down the line, and it's also pretty accurate based off the limited materials we have available. After we've removed the helmet from the print bed, we've got to remove all the support material it used. Be sure to be careful not to rip off any parts of the model. I think I actually ripped off a part of the face around the nose area and had to glue it back again later, so don't be like me, just take your time. Now that we've got our model, we need to fill in some of the 3D printer lines before we can start painting. The first step in that process is using a material called Rust-Oleum Filler Primer. Links to all these materials can be found in the description, by the way. Filler Primer is going to do a great job filling in a lot of the smaller print lines along the sides, and especially in the hard to reach areas. I typically apply 2 to 3 heavy coats of Filler Primer before moving on to the next print line filling material. The other material we're going to be using is called Bondo Spot Putty. If you're experienced in the prop making world, you probably know how this stuff works, but if not, it's basically like a red toothpaste that hardens when it's exposed to air. Once it's hardened, we can sand it down to a smooth surface. I like to apply Bondo to the top and bottom of the helmet, the places most likely to have larger 3D print lines. This material is a lot better at filling in the larger lines, but would be a pain to apply to the whole helmet, hence the combination of the Filler Primer and Bondo. Wait a few hours for your Bondo to harden, and then we're ready to start sanding. For sanding, I like to use a 150 grit sandpaper pad to start with, and then move on to a 300 grit to get the smoother finish. After my first run through of sanding, I'll be sure to get all the Bondo sanded down and a little bit of the Filler Primer. After that, I'll apply another layer of Filler Primer as a kind of like final coat, and then repeat the process with the 150 grit and then the 300 grit sandpaper to make sure I have a smooth surface ready for painting. If it takes you a few rounds of Filler Primer, Bondo, and sanding, that is perfectly fine and kind of expected. This is going to be the longest and most intense part of the process, so if you can make it through this, you're well on your way to a beautiful looking helmet. Once the helmet is sanded down to our satisfaction, we can begin painting. We'll be using a gloss red all across the helmet so that we end up with a lovely shine. Be sure to take your time at this step, since we don't want any streaks or runs at this point. If the helmet is not perfectly shiny by the end of this, don't worry. We're going to be applying a gloss at the end, which will ensure a shiny finish all around. Once the red is down, we need to add the black. To ensure we have a clean separation between the black and red, we'll be taping down our area with masking tape. I like to use a thinner tape for the detailing, and the thick blue tape to make sure no splatters or stray sprays affect the helmet. After the helmet is sufficiently taped, we're ready to add the black to the face area underneath the faceplates. Once the black is dried, we'll carefully, and I really do mean carefully, remove the tape separating the two colors. I say carefully because we really don't want to peel up any of the red paint or affect our finish in any way. The last paint we'll be applying, like I said, is the clear coat gloss. This will make sure our helmet is nice and shiny all around. We'll be covering the black as well as the red to give it a consistent finish. Now that we've got a fully painted helmet, we can attach the face plates, which were separated at the beginning of the build. I really didn't want to try and tape off these face plates when we were painting the black, which is why I'm so happy I went with the model I did. It really made the painting process a lot easier. I'm going to be using just a few dabs of E6000 on the faceplates to keep them well attached. I'll have to wait a few hours for the glue to fully cure, so I'm going to apply just a little bit of tape to make sure the plates don't shift or sag on me. Trust me, it's a nightmare when your pieces like shift before the glue cures, and then you're basically stuck there after the glue is cured, so this tape will help ensure that they don't move around before then. It would look pretty dopey if we could see the trooper's eyes through the eye holes, so what we need is a visor. What I'll be using is a portion of the Hobart face shield I cut out with scissors and some duct tape to hold it in place. The face shield is used as a kind of protection visor from like a belt sander or something, but it works very well for our purposes. It's dark and see-through while also being flexible. Luckily for us, it's also very affordable, and I can usually get 2 to 3 visors from one face shield. With the visor held in place with duct tape, we have officially finished the helmet. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. I really love how this helmet turned out, and am very proud to be showing it to you guys. This helmet was done in conjunction with the Sith Trooper blaster, so be sure and check out my other video on that. I'd really love to wear a helmet to the premiere of Rise of Skywalker, but I think I'm going to be leaving the blaster at home. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're feeling confident enough to take on a project like this yourself, and I hope to see you again in the next video.